Good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Hopefully you saw our post in advance this time and could plan to tune in. We are here with really exciting news, which is that the Latino Cherries have peaked. If any of you saw our tour on Friday, you would have seen that they were just starting to bud, but all of that rain and warmth over the weekend really did the trick. So let me turn this camera around so you can see what's important here. So we're here by Cherry Hill with all the Latino cherries, which are just looking absolutely beautiful this morning. And we are going to walk around the whole Japanese garden today to show you guys those cherry trees, the Yoshinos and some of the weeping cherries that we saw before but never get tired of them, so we'll show you again. And I'm here with Cassidy again, far away from me, keeping that safe social distance. We got our hand sanitizer on our belt loops. So we're gonna walk you guys through the Japanese garden, and then we're gonna go ahead and walk over to the Victorian garden too and check in to see what the progress is like on the tulips. So let's go up close to some of these blossoms. Little bee right there. Now, as I just mentioned, if anyone is just now tuning in, on Friday we showed these same buds and they were just barely starting to pop out. And now look, they're fully in bloom.
I think we only saw one flower on Friday.
Yeah.
All the trees.
Cassidy just said, in case you couldn't hear, on Friday we only saw one flower on these trees. And now they've just burst. Mia is asking, how long do the flowers stay on the tree? Well, it depends, but the peak is usually just a couple of days, but that can be affected by the weather. So like if it's really windy or if there's a really hard rain, sometimes that will knock the petals off the tree faster than normal. But if it's calm for a while, they can hang around for like a week.
Yeah, in various stages. Not peak is really only a couple of days. I was looking to see, so we have 50 of these Latino cherries, and 20 of them are actually direct descendants of the flowering cherries in DC, which peaked a couple of weeks ago. We got those in 2012 and added them here. So I was trying to see if I could maybe find which of those might be an actual DC cherry.
So we have about 50 of these Latino cherry trees for the person who asked about that. And now we're looking to see if we can figure out which ones came directly from that famous Washington, D.C. display.
They'll be sort of the medium-sized ones. I can't find the tag. So every tree has an accession number, just like an artwork in a museum would have. Here we go. Oh, so this is a dedication tag. So a couple different ways we identify the trees, and they'll have The accession number will have things on it like a year that it was planted. And they also have a barcode, so they tie directly into the digital system.
And while we're looking, someone just asked about the Koifish. So we will be walking through the whole Japanese garden and we'll check in on them. We checked them out on Friday and it was pretty shady, cool, not a lot of sun, so that water was still pretty cool and they weren't out and about yet. But today it's been warm over the weekend, we might be able to see them. Cassidy, if you're able to project anymore, people are commenting that it's kind of hard to hear you.
Sorry.
Bailey, no, unfortunately visitors are not allowed on grounds right now. We're closed to the public due to the shelter-in-place order, so we've been trying to share the beauty with you guys virtually as best we can in the meantime.
So this one is probably a DC cherry?
So he said this one is a DC cherry?
It should be. So the accession number tells us that this was added to the collection in 2012, which is the year that we received the gift of 20 of the DC cherries. So this is most likely one of the ones that ties directly to the Washington DC display and comes from the original gift of Japan to the United States in 1912.
All right, we'll keep walking and see some of those other cherry
better?
trees. I think so.
Something we can kind of note with these trees up here, which are above the waterfall of Tidal Sound, these actually go up and over the back side of this berm here. And if you are by the garden and walking along Alfred Avenue, you can actually see these cherries from outside the garden on the street. And actually, in general, just taking sort of a walk around the perimeter on the garden, if you're out to get exercise or anything like that, there are a few places where you can see through the fence and see, kind of get a glimpse of what is peeking. So these cherries here are visible from outside the garden on Alfred Avenue.
Suzanne was wondering, are there still volunteers? Who's mowing, who's trimming? No, our volunteers are not allowed right now either due to the shelter-in-place order. And actually most of our staff is staying home as well. So it's just a handful of us that are still allowed here, and those horticulturists that are still able to work have taken on a huge load and they're working really hard to keep up right now. But the good news is, at this time of year, the flowers are kind of doing their own work to some extent. They've all been planted and mulched, and now it's just time for them to come up. Now on our right we have the star magnolias. We'll go up and see some of those. Lynn, we will go ahead and share this post once the video is complete, so you will be able to come back and watch it. And we are also posting these on YouTube once they're recorded, so that you can share with friends or family who might be interested but maybe don't have Facebook. So go ahead and check out our YouTube channel, and later today or tomorrow this video will be up there, and there are already some of our previous tours up there as well.
That'd be sort of neat to go up on the bridge and look back towards that shore.
Yeah, so we're gonna walk up on the bridge here and look back towards those cherry trees we were just showing you on the hill a few minutes ago. The smell out here is great. It smells really fresh. It's warm enough that the sun is warming some of those more fragrant trees. I actually especially smelled the star magnolias. Those are very fragrant. And it is warm out here. It was a little chilly this morning, but now it's really starting to warm up. Can kind of smell the new grass coming up. And if you see those pink spots in the distance, those are the weeping cherries we're heading towards. It really is a perfect day. There's hardly even any breeze. For anyone who was outside yesterday, it was pretty windy. Oh, look, it's a little duck and a cardinal. And as we're walking around, Cassidy's taking some pictures, so we'll be posting some of those later. There's that cardinal again. Robins everywhere. Those are the birds that you keep seeing flying through the frame. Maybe we
should do the Zigzag Bridge.
I think so too. I was just about to say the same thing. We're gonna walk out on this Zigzag Bridge. Kaya says don't fall in. I know, I'm worried about the camera falling in. We made it off though. So a few minutes ago Cassidy was mentioning how, at least for the time being while we have to be closed, there are some cherry trees that you can see from Alfred, which is a bordering street of the garden. And you can see those now. You can kind of see the houses of the neighborhood right by in the background here. Jan, we'll check out and see if the turtles are out today. I bet they are with all the sun. There's a spot that they seem to particularly like, and we will definitely look when we're passing that up.
Some of the quince we were showing last week.
Oh yeah, so this is flowering quince for anyone who saw our Friday tour. Or Thursday? I think it was Thursday. And here's these weeping cherries. We'll just stop here and take this in for a second. Looks beautiful with that blue sky. Now I'll be quiet and let you listen to the birds for a minute.
Another spot you can see from the street off of Magnolia here.
Yeah, so if you're walking along Magnolia, which is another bordering street of the garden, you can look in and see those cherries from here. Jennifer, the lily pads aren't out yet. They can't go until summer because the water will have to be warm enough. But those will go out in probably mid-May or at the latest early June. But right now those are growing in the greenhouses. Oh, we have some koi. We do see some honeybees flying, Christine, yes. Oh, here they are, I see. The koi.
Didn't bring any quarters.
No, we will have to do that though. Now that it's starting to warm up, I'm sure we'll be seeing them out more often. Oh, here comes a goose. You know, I've never seen any baby koi. I'm sure they're around somewhere, but I can't say I've seen any myself. I don't see any ducks right around here, but I've seen some around in the garden. Now, Cassidy, do the koi burrow in the bottom during winter, do you know?
I think they go low in the lake and then also sort of up against the sides. I'm not really sure, but they are in the lake year-round, so they must find somewhere warm. And there are actually a few spots, and you can sort of see it, where we keep the water moving, so it helps keep too much of the lake from freezing over when it gets really cold.
And Adina is asking a follow-up question about those lily pads. Yes, so those are only outside seasonally, but we are always growing them in the greenhouse. And once the water in the central axis or some of those other places where they are displayed reaches 72 degrees, I believe it is, they will be moved out of the greenhouse where everyone can see them. And it does help that the water is black. That's part of why we do that, so that it will warm up more quickly and stay that way. Let's see if we can find any ducks on this side of the bridge.
There's some ducks coming over here.
Oh.
Straight for us.
Oh yeah. Here we go. You can maybe see in the background there, the ducks are starting to come towards us. There they are. Hi guys. Here's those peonies again. Really sprouting up. Taller every day, I think. now we're approaching the turtle's favorite spot. So we'll see if we can see any of them today. I bet we will. Let's go up to the overlook. The Plum Viewing Arbor is what this is called. Oh wow, look at that. Now again, even just since last week, these trees have totally leafed out. And you can see probably from those storms over the weekend and all that wind yesterday, all those petals on the ground. And those were, we probably just missed them because we did a tour on Thursday and these trees were just starting then. Then with the storms over the weekend, boom. And it happens so fast like that sometimes. Oh, we do have some turtles. Wow, there's a lot of them. Okay, let's see if I can get a better view for you guys. Oh, I scared them. One brave turtle remains. And now he's gone too. Oh man, well, we'll circle back. I'm sure they can't resist the sunshine for too long. Well, there were a lot of turtles. Some more of those weeping cherries up right ahead. There's a saucer magnolia. Those flowers are kind of high up. Can you see them? Here's one that's starting to come out of its bud.
Alexandrina is the cultivar.
So this is called Alexandrina. And this is also starting to leaf out. You can see the little green coming. As the blossoms are beginning to fall. Now this is one of our earlier blooming cherries, so it's been going for a while and now it's starting to get its leaves. Got some daffodils.
These are double daffodils.
Double daffodils, we believe. Looks like these guys got hit by the rain a little. They'll probably pop back up. Yeah, I wish there was a way to record smell too. Maybe one day. Now we're going to walk through the English garden so that we can take you guys to the Victorian area.
You can see the bluebells. We've been watching these bluebells for a week and a half or so, and now the blue is just really popping.
Up here on the left. Now when we last walked through here, all of them looked like this. And now, most of them look like this. Again, these are bluebells. And there's a lot of them along here.
Oh, this is a fun one. This is Bloodroot.
So this is Bloodroot right here popping up.
It has bright red sap in the roots. That's where it gets its name. This is one, if people are going for hikes in the woods or things like that, they might see coming out of the ground in the woods. It's a Missouri native.
You can see those magnolias in the background there. Here we've got some daffodils. And these are early azaleas, I believe. Yes. Now this right here is our crocus field. But you can see the crocus is already gone. That's a really early spring flowers, so it's already had its time. We are going to check out the tulips right now. Looks like there's some stuff coming up, or just beginning to bloom, that is. No roses yet, I don't think. It's a little early. They're more of a summer flower.
Yeah, June. Sort of their peak.
So, yeah.
Someone had asked last week about fringe trees blooming, and those are also later in the spring, in May, so they're not blooming.
You can see some of these tulips. You can see over here, not quite blooming yet. And as we go over to the sunny side, so I'm sure as we continue to have some warmer sunny days, these are just going to explode in the next week or so. So soon, this whole area will be totally in bloom, I would guess. Especially based on, like I was showing, now, why don't we walk and take a look at that big magnolia? The tulips are not super fragrant. Over here though, it's just that really pleasant smell of warm, sunny grass. It smells kind of like summertime. Looks like the connection's getting iffy over here. So I'm sorry if anyone's seeing any skips or anything. We're taking you over to that really big old magnolia. Do you know exactly how old the magnolia is?
I do not. It's something that might be able to tell by the accession number if we can find it.
And yes, we are definitely planning on continuing to do this. So check back in. We will visit the tulips again. It smells amazing. Almost like someone brewed some flowery tea. It's so warm smelling with the sun on it. Let's see if we can get a more wide angle on this so those of you who haven't seen this tree in person can really see how big it is. So you can imagine how fragrant it is over here with that many magnolia flowers. We can walk through the stumpery while we're over here. This is a lesser known part of the garden.
Heart shape.
Leaves too. Oop. There's a honeybee. Starting to lose connection back here. Kind of blipping in and out, it seems.
Well, we'll see if we can maybe circle back for one last look at the cherries.
Sounds
the
good.
Woodland Garden. You can see color starting to come in on some of the red buds. So,
oh yeah, look at this.
Those will be going here shortly.
I don't know how well you can see that with this camera, but these branches that we're looking at, you can see those little buds. Those are magenta colored, and they're red buds.
This one's a little out of reach for our camera.
Yeah. Now we'll take you guys through the English Woodland Garden and get one last look at the cherries today.
celandine poppy, celandine poppy, the yellow flowers here on the ground. That's another pretty common woodland flower.
This is celandine poppy, for those of you who couldn't hear. Another common wildflower back here in the English garden. Alright, we're circling back to the cherries where we began for another look at them since it's their peak. They are really the star of the show right now. Can hear the bees in these flowers. You can see some of them too. They're buzzing. The trees themselves seem to be buzzing. There are so many. Alright, why don't we walk over to that waterfall for one last view of the cherry trees, and then we'll wrap up for the day. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us for this tour. If you liked it, don't worry, we're planning on doing more. I will be back at the garden tomorrow, weather permitting, to do a live stream of this area if you'd like to just kind of tune into the peace of the garden without listening to us talk. So yeah, again, thank you so much. We'll say bye to Cassidy.
Bye.
And again, I was Kristina, and we'll end.
Happy birthday.
It is my birthday. We'll end on this view of the cherries.